Damn, this is crazy. I just thought about this. I used to train this dude. I'll never forget this. He told me that I owned a home and I was married and I had a kid. He told me I was in the big leagues. I remember him telling me these stories about his dad, and his dad had to make a decision at the time on whether or not he was gonna settle and just take a job that he could have and be around his family every day, or if he was gonna take this sales position. Him taking this job was gonna allow him to afford some massive opportunities for his children. And I mean, think about that. What would you do? Think about professional sports, and I think about some of my favorite athletes. They spend a lot of time away from home. A lot of things they miss. Most people will sit there and tell you it's sacrifice, right? And it's like the word that I say doomed with because it's super negative. Like, what does sacrifice mean to you? Oh, you gotta sacrifice going to a party. You gotta sacrifice all the late nights are gonna pay off, and working Saturdays are gonna pay off, and it's a sacrifice. When I talk about being in the big leagues, to me it's an investment. I think what you sacrifice really is time. And there's one thing that money doesn't buy, it's time. And I think about it as an investment because I'm investing in my kids' future. The guy that I used to train that told me that I was in the big leagues, you know, at the time I didn't understand it. And my gym was from home. And, he would tell me the story about his dad and how his dad traveled and then could provide all these things for him. And this guy had this nice car, and he was going to college and lived in this awesome house, like in Stone Oak in San Antonio, like this beautiful neighborhood. I understood it. It sat in me that kind of decision to live that kind of life could provide that kind of opportunity. But in my mind, it was something that I don't, at the time, that I wasn't committed to do. So I lived a real comfortable life, and all my clients came to me. If I continued on that path, if my son ever gets, or my daughter ever gets accepted at Yale, or needs $1 million loan, or wants something outside of going to community college, or hopefully getting a full ride, and how competitive that may or may not be, but I was going to be limited on what I could provide. I know my skill sets. I know what I'm good at. And as comfortable as I was a big fish in a small pond. When I got that call and I got that opportunity, I knew that there was an opportunity in front of me where I was gonna have to invest a lot of time, and I was gonna be away a lot. But it was gonna open and provide opportunities for my kids that I wasn't gonna be able to do comfortable at home and waiting for all my clients to come to me. So we opened this company. I've been on the road for a long time. People see the glory, but no one's in the airport when you're flying what should be a 1-hour flight from San Antonio to El Paso, and it takes you 7 hours to get there. I understand what I'm doing. I understand the investment. I know what I'm gonna provide for my kids. I know what that young man that I used to train, I know the opportunity that he has, and he's doing amazing right now. And I know that his dad is probably really proud that he made that choice and to be in the big leagues and to make that investment. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you have a nightmare that someone's breaking into your house and you're not there, it's hard. It was the first time I had this dream. It was a new nightmare. I had gone home. I'd taken what should be a 1-hour flight. took 7.5 hours. And when I got home, my daughter was 14. She had grown by like 9 years. Overnight. And it was the oddest thing to see that. But what made it a nightmare was that when she saw me, she didn't recognize me. She looked at me, she didn't. She looked at me and she didn't know who I was. And she was uncomfortable to be around me. But it's just a nightmare. She knows who I am. And I do spend a lot of time with my kids. Being an entrepreneur and being in the big leagues isn't just all glory. It's not. It's not just all rainbows. When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud. That's the mud. One day, my kids will watch this. And they're gonna be thankful. And I like to think that it's because Daddy dealt with the mud so they can dance in the rain. So that they can dance in the rain. That's all I got.